thing I want to talk about is something I don't like talking about. And the reason I don't like talking about it is it's very distracting. And if you've listened to me at all, you will know that I talk about the mystery all the time. I love talking about the mystery, even though I can't really talk about it. Meaning, my mind never experiences the mystery, yet my mind has to form the words. Now, what I don't like talking about is the bit on the way to the mystery. It's not so much I don't like talking about it, it's just I don't want to give it any energy because it's very distracting. So, it reminds me of, I used to live in Australia, and my spiritual teacher was Barry Long, and I lived in Brisbane, and he did all his meetings in Mullumbimby, in northern New South Wales. So I used to have to drive down on the Gold Coast Highway, and there's a section on the Gold Coast Highway, and on either side of the highway there are about 4 massive theme parks: Warner Brothers World, Wet n Wild, and 2 others I can't remember the names of now. And they're huge. Like you'd be driving along, and they're like, you just see rides and what do you call those things? Roller coasters and spinning around things, or movie things, and big water slides. It's just really like just for this stretch of highway. So when you go asleep, you kind of go through this place all the time anyway, because you start off and you're dreaming, then dreaming turns into the psychic world, and you go through the psychic world and you drop out the bottom into deep dreamless sleep. So that kind of strata way of thinking about it I find helpful for me. And the bit I don't really enjoy talking about too much is the psychic world, because it's like those that stretch of the highway with the theme parks. It's distracting. Like if you wanted to go to northern New South Wales and you kept stopping to go to the amusement parks, you'd never get there. You'd just go sideways. And that's what can happen with the psychic world. In the descent, because like what I teach in terms of meditation and what I do myself for meditation is I'm going to the mystery. So I'm going where I go to in deep dreamless sleep. I'm just doing it consciously in meditation. So the psychic world is so interesting that it's very easy to go sideways in it. Now, why am I talking about it now? I'm talking about it now because it's coming up a lot. And I have a psychic training that I did a couple of years ago that people have got lots of value from. And I want to do it again. Because even with it, I still get lots of questions. Because there's a couple of basic things about the psychic world that if you know them, then I thought it was like if you know these things, then it's easy to navigate. Turns out not so much. Because I found that the fascination of the psychic world it's so fascinating that people would keep coming back to me with, well, what about this? And what about this other thing? And what about this other thing? And keep going, yeah, no. So what I mean is, everything in the psychic world is facing the wrong way. Meaning, it's looking into existence. It is trying to, in some way, have something to do with existence vicariously through people who are actually in existence, you and me. It's not focused on the mystery. In fact, it doesn't want to be in the mystery. And I'm talking about the friendly energies and the unfriendly energies. Because the thing that I think people don't get about the psychic world is that it's all real. And what happens is they get caught up in a rebellion frame of mind because their parents told them that, you know, fairies and elves were not true, and to grow up and to get real. The world is a very, you know, mechanistic sort of place, and science is, you know, in reaction to superstition and the terrible things that were done to people because of superstition. So science is in reaction to that. But unfortunately, through, you know, not everything that was to do with superstition was wrong, but it all got, like, if you can't prove it empirically, if you can't prove it scientifically, well, it doesn't exist, rather than going, that's interesting, let's find out how to prove it. It's like, no, if we can't prove it with our current crude ways of measuring things, then it doesn't exist. Not like, let's improve our ways of measuring. Anyway, so, you know, you grow up being told that all, you know, the fairies you see in the garden, for example, or the thing under your bed, or the reason why you can't sleep with the light off, or, and you know, it's like, that's not real. You're away with the fairies, you know, get real in the real world. People love saying that, well, in the real world, you know, this kind of thing. So it develops a kind of reactionary thing with people, where it becomes part of their identity, that they, you know, they've been fighting for what their experience of reality is for so long that they're fighting, you know, they're just like, no, it's real, it's real, it's real. They don't really know it's real. They sort of have this feeling of maybe it's not real. And if they knew, if everybody who's interested in the psychic world knew that it was all real, they'd leave it alone. Because it's all true. All the good stuff, fairies, angels, you name it, all the lovely things you've ever heard about, all true. But it also, all the bad stuff is true as well. And the other thing that people think is that they think they can control it. It's a big mistake. They think they can filter. They can go, oh no, I will only invite in the good stuff. Like, you know, it just doesn't work like that. I've never seen it work like that. It always comes in. The unfriendly stuff comes in on the same carrier wave. So you can get great information from the psychic world, but you get better information from the mystery, because there's nothing to speak of in the mystery, and everything comes from the mystery anyway.